Much of the world, bungkarno, believes that Indonesia is now very closely aligned with China. Is this true?
True in the sense of the word that Indonesia is very much aligned with all progressive forces in the world. Indonesia is very much aligned with the new emerging forces. It's not only with China, but with any country, any nation with progressive ideas, with progressive policy. But look here, when we made our Declaration of Independence, Proclamation of Independence in August 45, I said in my 17th of August speech last, that about that time also, Cambodia, Vietnam, Korea made also Declaration of Independence. That's why I said in my speech that an axis, Jakarta, Phnom Penh, Hanoi, Peking, Pyongyang is a very logic one.
May I ask you a rather difficult question? How do you reconcile your being so opposed to imperialism and yet align yourself with a country which has always had imperialist designs in Asia, and many people think still does? Do you think they still do, China? Do you think they might become an imperialist nation again?
No. I had serious talks about this with Mao Zedong, with Zhou Enlai, with Chen Yi, with Zhu Te, with Liu Xiaoqi, all the responsible leaders of China. They all laugh about this. People say that we Chinese are imperialists. We are not. And I'm sure they are not imperialists. They are not imperialists. You know, a few years ago, we had here also a Chinese problem. And we have tackled this problem nicely. It was not because China was imperialist, or is imperialist, no. You know that if then Chen Yi came here, when we were tackling this Chinese problem in Indonesia, Chen Yi came here and he said, Presiden Soekarno, punish them if they are doing things against the interests of your nation and your country. Punish them. So this is a proof that anyhow that Chen Yi is not imperialist and that China is not imperialist.
Do you think that this has any possibility of happening, that there might be a clash at some point between the interests of China and the interests of Indonesia?
No. China is solving its own problems. We are solving our own problems. And so long as we don't intervene, subvert each other, then everything's all right.
You have now friendly relations also with many Western countries, don't you?
Yes.
Which ones?
No, with the Netherlands. No, with France. With Italy. Those are Western countries.
Yes.
Even we had very nice talks and relations with, for example, President de Gaulle is now sometimes very much opposed against your policy, American policy.
I'll go on to another, if I may. You have very fervently, in many of your speeches, prayed for world peace. Yet Indonesia is the only nation to have withdrawn from the United Nations. Coincidentally, this is the year of the 20th anniversary of Indonesia's independence and also the 20th anniversary of the formation of the United Nations. Would you tell us if, perhaps, if you can, if this was an impulsive move?
Impulsive, Miss Beryl? How can you speak about impulsive? It was already in 1960, that I made that speech to the United Nations in New York. And then in that speech I elaborated already about the urgent necessity to reorganize the United Nations, because the United Nations of today are not picturing the world constellation of today. The United Nations of today is just a picture of the constellation of the world in 1945. And after 45, so many changes have taken place. So many new Asian states have been established. So many new African states have been established.
What would your suggestions be for the most important changes which you have suggested in the past for the changing or amending of the United Nations Charter's organization?
In the first place, that the United Nations now are a real reflection of the world life of today, not 45's constellation. Today, 60. I uttered that already at 60, and not 65, even more now.
Is this regarding the Security Council?
Security Council, United Nations Charter, etc., 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 etc.
Do you think that the Security Council should be different, and how?
Don't put me into details. Anyhow, do you understand that Security Council is not satisfactory to us, and that the whole organization of the United Nations also not satisfactory to us?
Should it happen that there be any revisions in the United Nations Charter, is it at all possible that Indonesia may rejoin the United Nations?
Yes, but not the contrary. We shall never come back to the United Nations before a reorganization of the United Nations.
In your Independence Day speech on the 17th of August this year in 1965, you said that no man can live 1,000 years. Indonesia and the name Soekarno are now synonymous. Can you tell us what you think and hope the future of Indonesia may be after Soekarno?
I have confidence in my people. A great nation always has its leader, always. Because I have confidence in the Indonesian people, I have also confidence that after my death, Indonesia still will have its leader. Take another example, Ms. Beryl. I don't compare myself with any prophet, but take Jesus. Did he ever ponder over this question? After my death, who will lead this Christian community? Or Muhammad? He never pondered about that. After my death, who will be my successor?
Do you have a plan which you believe will be followed by your successors?
That is my guided democracy, my 5, they call it in English, my 5 talismans, but that is not talisman. There's the Pancasila, the Nasacom, the Manipur Uzbek, the Trisakti, and the Berdikari. I am giving these 5 principles, 5 principles. Yes, 5 principles, 5 principles to my nation, and so long as my nation executes this, they will be always strong.
Herr Präsident, ich habe das Vergnügen, Ihnen nach der deutschen Ausgabe meines Buches nun auch noch die holländische zu überreichen.
Danke.
Ich weiß, dass
Herzlich.
Sie in der deutschen Ausgabe auch lesen und sie auch verstehen könnten.
Aber warum haben Sie meinen Namen mit OE geschrieben?
Weil Sie das letzte Mal, als wir miteinander sprachen,
Das ist nicht gut.
mir sagten, Sie unterschreiben noch mit OE.
Ja, aber mein Name ist SU.
Hier
Ja.
ist es SU.
Sehr gut, das ist sehr
Ja.
gut. Aber das ist nicht gut.
Ich bin Ihrer Unterschrift gefolgt. Die geht noch mit OE.
Ja.
Sie wollen die nicht mehr ändern.
Nein.
Wie viele Sprachen, Herr Präsident, sprechen Sie eigentlich?
Nur eine Sprache gut, nur eine. Das ist Indonesisch.
Die haben Sie beinahe erfunden.
Aber ich spreche Indonesisch, Javanisch, Sundanese, Holländisch, Deutsch, Französisch, Englisch. Deutsch. Nein, Holländisch.
And how much Japanese, Ibu Devi, do you think the President will learn in your presence?
That's a lot.
How do you get informed, Mr. President, on political affairs? Are you having certain newspapers from abroad you're reading, or do you just get informed by your ministers?
Yes, I get informed by the Minister of Information and by Dr. Ruslan Abdul Ghani, my, say, indoctrination minister. But I myself, I have read very much when I was not yet president. Now I have no time to read.
It's quite interesting to follow the books which impressed you during the years, during your speeches. What book would you think has had the greatest influence on your political thinking?
I can't mention one because it is my political thinking is a mixture of many thoughts from here, from there. Once I made a speech about my life in the world of the mind. When I was young, I was very poor. I was deprived of every pleasure in material life. I lived in a very small house. I slept on a bamboo stretcher. I had not even electric light in my house. I read in the light of a small petroleum lamp. But then I left this world, this material world, and I sought my consolation in books. I left this material world and went into the world of the mind. And in that world of the mind, I met with many great men. I met with Dante, I met with Mazzini, I met with Garibaldi, I met with Marx, I met with Engels, I met with Rosa Luxemburg, I met with Liebknecht, the Liebknechts. I met with Gladstone, I met with the Webbs, I met with
Hitler? Have you read?
Yes, I met with Hitler. Oh, I read his Mein Kampf 3 times. But I also read Konrad Heyden, I read many other books about Hitler. I read Fritz Sternberg, I read Karl Henry,
This Austrian socialist.
Adler.
Yeah.
I read him.
Yeah.
I read the leaders of the French Revolution, Mirabeau, Marat, also Péronne de Méricourt, the woman leader. Dante, not Dante, Danton, and the Russian socialist I met with, in the world of the mind, I met and I spoke with Plekhanov, I spoke with Lenin, I spoke with Sun Yat-sen from China, I spoke with the leaders of New Japan, with Okuma, with Taiko Takamori. I met with the great nationalist from the Philippines, Rizal, and Manila. So from them, I got ideas. And all those ideas I put in a great jug and I boiled those ideas. Then I came to my own policy. The Pancasila and later also the 5 talismans of the Indonesian Revolution.
Tell me, Mr. President, what's coming into your mind quite suddenly if somebody mentions Germany? What would jump into your mind?
That Germany now is different from Germany before. I know Germany, especially in the early days of the socialist movement. That's why I said, then I met with Liebknecht, with Rosa Luxemburg, with Bebel. I followed Bebel's debate with Jean Jaurès in Brussels. They were great leaders. But then came Hitler, and then came the post-Hitler time.
I think we leave it like that. Thank you very much. It is a nice end.
Thank you. I'm most grateful. Thank you.